So as we're getting started, I want to welcome everyone. Um, Welcome to Meador's Digits with Dad. This is our first time doing this, so I'm really excited. I hope it goes well. I hope you get one or two good ideas, maybe more good ideas today. And I'm, first of all, not wearing a mask. I have Miss T. Hay, who's sitting across from me, so we're socially distancing. No one else is around, so that's why I don't have a mask on right now. Also, let me introduce myself. I'm Mrs. Dalmas. I am the math coach here at Meador Elementary. And we have Mrs. T. Hay, who is our parent coordinator, and she's handling the technology in the chat, along with Mrs. Pacioli, our language arts peer facilitator, our coach here at our campus. So these two ladies will be helping me out. If you have any questions, be sure to type that in the chat. We're going to try to finish a couple of minutes early, just so that we can address any questions you might have. Also, parents, dads, or whoever's joining us today, if you would type in your child's name, first name and last name, and if you could put their teacher on there as well, that'll help us to find them a little bit faster. But we will have a treat for them tomorrow, just a small little thank you for joining us today. And if you don't have your child with you because you're somewhere else, that's fine, that's okay. Still put your child's name in and they still get a treat because the parent was here today, so it all works out. So again, thank you so much for joining us, and be sure and put their name in the chat. Let's go. 5 o'clock. Okay. We're going to go ahead and get started. At this time, I want to tell you that the reason we're doing this is, again, it's COVID, so I was really hoping to do this in person, but a Zoom is okay. We can still do this as a Zoom. Number literacy, number fluency is just number sense is a huge thing in elementary. So I wanted to bring back some old school things, if you will, that you could do at home with your child. And of course, this is for kinder up to 4th. So may even have some pre-K student parents on here as well. So just kind of adjust these activities that would work for your student. Here we go, let's get started. One of my all-time favorites is battle. And so if you're like me, I had to get a bunch of water bottles with this winter storm that we had. And, you know, we have other things that we just have water bottles for, sports activities that we go out. So what to do with those caps, the water bottle caps, what I did was I took and I just wrote numbers on top of them. So this is going to be a manipulative for me. So I just have numbers on here. And I have 2 brown bags. Now you can number them 1 to 10, you can number them 5 to 20, or maybe 1 to 60. Again, whatever level your child is at. And again, we want it to be fun. We don't want it to be stressful. So if they're not ready to count up to 75, then keep it to where they're comfortable level. This is just a practice activity that you're doing with them at home, something fun. So with me, I am going to work with my partner, and I'm going to have an invisible partner right now. But we are going to decide who the winner is going to be of this game before we draw numbers. So the person with the highest number is the winner. So we have our number caps in here. We're going to shake those up because, you know, who doesn't like noise and shaking, right? So I would take my bottle cap, and I drew a number 6. So I would put my 6 down. And my friend, my child, my partner, whoever's working with me, they drew a number 2. They would put that down. So remember, the one with the highest number wins. So we're going to compare 6 and 2. Which one is greater? Which one is less? The 6 is greater, so I win. And if you want to step this up a little bit, you could ask the question, how much more do I have than you? And they can count and see the difference. And again, just having fun with it. And whoever wins gets to keep the bottle caps. And the second round is The one with the smallest number, our lowest number, our least valued number, they're the ones that are going to win that round. We will shake our bags again and again. We're having fun. And then we draw our numbers. I drew a 14, and my child over here drew, let's see, without looking, a 3. So this person wins because they drew the smaller number. And again, you can kind of talk about what's the difference between 14 and 3, or how many more do I need to add to 3 to get 14? Just make it fun. If you want to have some paper and pencil nearby to do that, you could do that as well. So I'm going to just set my bags over here. Another cool thing to have are popsicle sticks. So our popsicle sticks, we can play the same thing. We can battle with popsicle sticks, numbering them to 1 to 20. In this case, you can number them 30 to 40 again, however you want to do it. And so we're going to battle. I'm going to take the sticks, and I'm going to throw down 19. I think this round, the one with the lowest number is going to win. And this person's going to draw, and they threw down a 13. 13 is less than 19. So they would win. And again, just doing numbers like that. If you want to practice subtraction, hey, they can subtract. And the first person who subtracts and gets the answer right, they get to keep the popsicle sticks. Or maybe you have a tray of M&Ms or something, and whoever wins that round, guess what? They get to take an M&M. Just make it fun. It's a rainy day outside. It's too hot to go outside. Let's do something fun inside. So here we go. Or, hey, sit outside and play this game. Whatever. Make it fun. Have fun with it. Another thing you could do is when you put down your numbers, if you have an older one at home and they need to practice their multiplication facts, then do 5 times 6 and see who gets the answer first. And that's just, again, getting them used to the numbers and making it fun and making it with a game that they can do. Something else I have here is we're comparing numbers and getting students used to comparing numbers. Our teachers are using number lines a lot in our classrooms, and that's pre-K all the way up to 4. We're using number lines. With fractions, we use number lines. So if you have a string at home, a ribbon, or whatever you have, it's kind of thin that you can make a line with. I made a line here. You can see it on my table. Hopefully you can see that. Miss Kike, can you see that? Yeah, okay. So I have my string here, and on one end, just with a piece of paper, I wrote 0. And on the other end, with a piece of paper, I put 20. And what we're going to do is, if you want to use your bottle caps, you can. If you want to use your popsicle sticks, you can. And so you would draw that popsicle stick, and we would take turns doing this. I drew a 5. So I'm looking on my number line, where could I put that 5? Is it closer to 0? Is it closer to 20? And so I would set my 5 down, and then the next person would go, and let's see, they drew a 6. How about that? Right next to the 5. So I would decide, is that closer to 0? Is it closer to 20? Does it go between 0 and 5? Does it go between 5 and 20? All these little things you can do with your child at home. It's having fun. It's just playing with numbers. And you know what? If I don't want to ask all those questions, it's okay too. You just put your number down, and that's it. So just have fun with it. Remember, math is just having fun, looking at our numbers, playing around with numbers. I'm going to put that back in here. And I also want to show you with cards. I love playing with cards. So with cards, again, you can battle. If you don't have the other items, you can battle with cards. So one person turns over 6, one person turns over 4, highest number wins, or you can do the lowest number wins, or 6 plus 4. What is that? It's 10, right? So the first person that answers that, they get to keep the cards. So either way, it's just a fun activity that we can do with our kids.
Sounds like fun.
It is fun. And one thing that I like is looking at cards with our little ones, is being able to look at that item. For example, this one is a 3 of clubs. So being able to just look at those 3 clubs without looking at the number, that they can see that's 3 without having to count. So practicing this, they're just still seeing, oh, that's 2. They don't have to count 1, 2. So again, these are great. Of course, this would count as a 10. So I probably would take those out of the deck for my little ones. Looking at bigger numbers like this is an 8. So I could talk to them, I see that 8. What do you notice? And what do you wonder looking at just that 8 right there? Well, I notice that there's 3 on the side, 3 on the side, and 2 in the middle. 6 and 2, that's 8. So just kind of looking at some groups and talking about some cards. If you're bored while you're having a snack or while you're having some ice cream, pull a deck of cards out and start kind of looking at some numbers and kind of talk about them a little bit. Of course, again, you can also multiply those numbers. You can subtract those numbers. You can even take those cards and I keep pulling those face cards out, but you can take those cards and put them on the number line as well. So you can use that with your number line. So that's pretty cool. Another thing I want to share with our parents today is Play-Doh. Who doesn't like Play-Doh? I know I like Play-Doh. Play-Doh is a great tool, and I'll tell you why. Our students are constantly having to write. Either they're writing something about a story, or they're doing a writing assignment, or they're writing a math problem, which, yay. So either way, they're doing some kind of writing, right? Well, with Play-Doh, that helps with dexterity. So that helps with, forming the hands and the muscles that are needed for that writing. And it's fun. And what I learned recently is it's also a great stress reliever. So dads, moms, uncles, aunts, if you're playing a game and you're just like so stressed out, or you're just had a day at work that just really challenged you, get some Play-Doh and just squeeze it around. I like the little ones because these little jars can be, this is my Play-Doh, and then you can have someone else so that they can have their own Play-Doh.
It's good to fidget with them.
It is a great fidget thing. You can even do it while you're watching TV. You can just have a Play-Doh in your hand. It's a good stress reliever, and it works those hands so that when the kids are writing at school, it doesn't bother them as much. So what can you do with math and Play-Doh? Let me tell you. You can draw a card. I drew a 5 right here for my little ones. I can take this Play-Doh and I can make circles out of it and make a little ball with it. And I'm going to do how many? Guess 5. Yes, I'm going to do 5 of those. And again, this is for my littler ones. We can do those 5, and I'm not going to take time and do 5 real quick. But okay, that was fun doing the ball. But here's the real fun part: is to count them. I'm going to squash them. Who doesn't like to squash? All right, 1, 2, 3, and I would keep going depending on what number I have. And I tend to yell when I'm squashing, so it kind of gets that energy out of them, and they're counting and they're practicing with number. So that's really cool and fun too. Also, if you have the older ones and they're like, hey, we're doing multiplication, we're not doing that adding thing, what you could do is, if I have 5, drew my cards, I have 5 times 2, I'm going to do groups. So I'm going to do 2 groups of 5. So I would take my Play-Doh, and I have one group with 5 balls in it and another group with 5 more in it. And that's 2 groups of 5. That represents my multiplication sentence. And then if you want, you can squash those again. Anybody know how many I'm going to squash? 5 times 2?
10.
Got it, Leah. What was your answer?
Go ahead, Aaliyah.
10.
Yay! 10, yes. And I would just squash those and count up to 10. Yes, ma'am. Yay! So again, having fun with Play-Doh. If you have an older one and a little one, You can take turns. The little one could be adding with the Play-Doh over here. The older one could be doing an array or groups of multiplication. So fun stuff. If you have dominoes at home, those are also a fun thing to play with. Again, just like the cards, you're looking at it, and I have a 4 on top, a 2 on bottom, and I can add those together and see what I get. Now, parents, when we're adding together, one of the strategies that we use is we count up. And what that means is I'll start with 4, and I'll count up. So 4, 5, 6. So I counted up. Again, looking at my cards here, I'm going to pull up another card. If I have 6 and 5, I want to start with the bigger number, 6, and I want to count up. So it's just practicing counting up. So I have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 6 and 5 is 11. If you're playing a card game with them, just get them used to counting up. A lot of times our kids recognize that 6, and you're what 6 and 5, and they'll start with the 6 and count 6 and then count the 5. But we want them to see, okay, I'm going to take the bigger number and I'm going to add up. So that's just called counting up. It's another strategy we can use. Of course, if you have dice laying around the house, that's another item you could use around the house. And we can roll dice. And I rolled a 6, a 5, and a 1. I can multiply that, add that, subtract it. Again, whatever level your student is at. I'll tell you one game I like to play. We choose the number, say 25, and we use our dice. And I would use probably 2 if I have a small number like 25. I'm going to roll that dice, and I'm going to try to get as close to 25 as I can get. So I might add that, or I might multiply it, again, depending on the level of your student or your child at home. So if I have maybe a first grader, I'm probably going to just add that. And we're going to keep adding our rows until we get to 25. And the person who gets there or gets the closest is the winner. Okay, so that's just another activity you can do. If you have older kids, then maybe a bigger number and try multiplying. And if they go over 25, let's subtract to try to get back down to 25. So again, just playing with those numbers, maybe having a bowl of popcorn or some pudding or some ice cream or something to reward them as you're playing the game. Remember, it's all about having fun. Now, if you go get M&Ms, the M&Ms that have different colors, you can do those activities as well. And what I like is I will put all my oranges together, all my blues together. I'm going to try really hard not to eat these. All my browns together, and then maybe I would go through my whole bag, and maybe I could look at that and go, wow, how many more oranges do I have than blue ones? Or I could say, I wonder how many more blue ones I need to have the same amount as orange. And then they can reach in and pull that out, and they're counting it. So again, it's counting, it's fun. The only thing is you got to try not to eat your M&Ms until you're finished with them. But that is fun. Another thing you can do with those is we can practice estimation. I love estimation. So looking at these M&Ms, you can see how many I have in my bag. And I'm going to show you this bag. This bag has 10. Now that you know how many are in here, can you guess how many are in here? Anybody got a guess out there? Anybody want to write a guess in the chat or just yell out a guess to me?
20.
30. Okay, good guess, good guess. Anybody else? Or you can guess quietly to someone over there, or you can have that guess in your head. The answer is 45. So 30 was pretty close. Yeah, there's 45 in here, 45 M&Ms. So that's fun to do. You can kind of guess that along the way. One other thing, with our M&Ms, we do graphing as well. We also, in the upper grades, talk about data. So a graph gives us data. So I taped this so I could show you, but I would have it on my table so the students could see, or your child could see at home. And again, which one has the most? Which one has the least? Are there any that have the same? So you can talk to your child about that. And then again, how many more brown ones or red ones do I need to match the orange one? Or could I put the blue and yellow and green together? And will that give me more than the orange? I wonder.
If you bring them more lower, they'll be able to see it better.
Oh, right.
There's
I'm sorry.
There we go. Yep.
Yeah. So kind of just looking at that, and you would have this laid out in front of you, and you guys would just practice looking at that that data. So that's something fun to do. Another thing is, you don't have M&Ms. I love Fruit Loops. You could use Fruit Loops because they come in different colors. So that's another thing you can do. You can use Cheerios when you're counting. So just anything you have around the house, you're bored one minute and you just want to pull that out and do some math. Remember, have fun with it. Have fun with it. Something that we do here at school is we do Meador Math Rocks. It's like scissors. What is that? Paper, scissors. I forget what the other one is. Yes, paper, rock, scissors. And this one we're doing numbers. And when you do Meador Math Rocks, you do a number and the other person does a number. And then you can add those, multiply them or whatever. It's a game we like playing here in the hallway every now and then when we're waiting at the bathroom. And one last thing I want to say is if you are going out to eat, there's a menu, and they don't really have menus too much anymore because of COVID. So it's on your phone, but you can look at it on your phone. But what we like to do is we like to guess what our total bill is going to be. So if you ordered a burger, it cost about $5, and you ordered fries, it cost about $3, and I ordered a big sandwich with the fries and everything that comes with it, and it's $8. So we're going to go around the table and guess what our total bill is going to be. And it's just kind of fun to see who gets the closest, and we're like, oh, you got the closest. So what you don't want to do is say whoever gets the closest has to pay the bill, because that's not fun. But just doing stuff like that. Also talk to your kids about budgeting. That's something that we talk about also in elementary. It's called financial literacy that they do study here at school. And financial literacy talks about how much do you need to save to get things that you want to get. You go to the grocery store. Just point out that box of cereal costs $3.99. This box of cereal costs $2.99. What's the difference, or about what is the difference? Which one costs more? Which one costs less? Of course, you might buy the one that costs more because that's your favorite. And just talking to kids about that. I know we think it in our heads, but letting us hear our thought process, it really goes a long way with our kids. That's, I know we're coming close to the end of our time together. I just want to tell you, remember, math is all around us. Make it fun, make it enjoyable. You're driving down the car, in your car, maybe, hey, I wonder how much gas is going to cost, or look at the cost of gas when you're pumping gas in the car. Anywhere you can throw in some numbers, throw in some numbers. Dads, family members, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to take some questions here in a minute, but I cannot stress how important it is to be involved in your child's academic journey. It's great. It helps them. It shows them the importance of that academic journey, and it's all around fun. So at this time, if you have a question or a comment, if you'll type that in the chat, or if you'll just come on, Ms. Tihei, Mrs. Pacioli, and I can try to answer that for you. Do we have any questions out there at this time?
Not on the chat. We'll see if they unmute themselves.
Okay. Yeah, just unmute if you have a question.
Someone's going to come in.
Any questions?
I think they changed their mind.
And that's okay if you changed your mind. I do hope that you got something, or at least one or two activities. You can also adjust those activities as needed. popsicle sticks. I did forget to mention this, but you can also do battle and put multiplication facts on your popsicle sticks. And the one whoever gets that multiplication fact right the first time, they get the sticks. So just so many different ways that you can do these activities at home and making it fun. I love using food because obviously I like to eat. So I usually eat that. I'll make sure my hands are clean and my area is clean, and I eat those M&Ms when I'm done. Mm-hmm. So one more time, does anyone have any questions or comments or would like to share anything?
So now it's
so be sure that you have put your student's name and teacher in the chat box on there. Yeah. I think we covered, if you have Legos at home, you can also use Legos and count those Legos. Do you know, I found out what these little bumps are called? They're actually called studs on the Legos. I did not know that. So you can practice counting the studs on the Legos. You can even have one with 8, one with 4, and then you could cover it at 4, take away, or 8, take away from 4, or 4 from 8. Sorry, I didn't get that right. 8 minus 4 is 4. And I noticed that that's a double. So we can talk about doubles. Just having fun as you're building your Lego tower there. Did any questions come up that you might have?
No, but they're still signing in actually, so that helped.
Okay. Be sure you put your child's name so they get credit for you being here today. We do have a little treat for them tomorrow when they get here. We'll be sure and get that to them. And if you'll let me know who their teacher is, so we can make sure we get that to them quicker and looking up. Oh, I see a hand. Yes.
No. Yeah, we have a question.
Yes.
Yeah, is there an age limit or because my baby wants to go on the math club, and I don't know. I mean, I was taught that it was an age limit there or something.
Age limit for the math club?
We don't have a math club. I have a math gals club. Maybe that's what she's talking about. She's probably heard about that on the campus. That is something new that the district has started. That's a great question. It's something new the district has started, and it's only open to 4th graders. And the reason that is because they talk a lot about courses and things for them to start taking once they hit 5th grade and so on. And it talks about engineering classes, mathematics classes. They research and talk about things like that, women in those areas. So it's just, it's a Math Gals Club that we have here that the district sponsors. But now that I know I have some interest with the younger ones, maybe next year, that's a great idea. We can start a math club, maybe before school or maybe right after school. So thank you so much for that. I will definitely start working with Mrs. Bolton and see if we can get that started next year, hit that ground running. I love that idea. Mm-hmm. You can play some of these games and have some M&Ms. Mm-hmm. Yeah, great idea. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. I think we'll go ahead and end our meeting now. But once again, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. We'll stay on for maybe a minute or two if a question comes up that you have. I'd love to answer that. Again, Mrs. Tihei, our parent coordinator, thank you. Mrs. Pacioli, thank you very much for joining us today and helping us monitor the chat and the technology. And a huge thank you to our parents and family members and everyone that's came today. And just a shout out that there is a measurement with moms coming up pretty soon. So I'm pretty excited about that. And we're going to focus on measurements with mom, talking about different measurements. And I'm sorry, Ms. T.A., what day was that?
It's May. I forgot the date, but I know it's coming up in May. And then also we're going to have Ready Rosie.
It's coming up in May. And I'm going to ask Mrs. T.A. to go ahead and unmute for a second and tell you about upcoming stuff. It's really great.
Because then it echoes.
I think it's May 6th.
Okay. I don't have the calendar in front of me, but you're probably right. And then also, I mean, of course, we're going to send out reminders and we'll send out the flyers. And also we're going to have Ready Rosie, and we're just going to talk about that just to get everybody familiar with it. It's free and you could do it online It's very cool. It's awesome, especially for kindergarten students. And then on top of that, we're gonna have Miss Pacioli come on, and she's gonna talk about reading strategy. So we're gonna have those two together. It's gonna be Ready Rosie and then reading strategies. I'll let Miss Pacioli talk a little bit about that.
Sure. I have it on my calendar that the next Measurements with Mom is May 6th, and that's from 5 to 5:30. And then the Ready Rosie and the Reading Strategies Zoom, I have it on May 24th, and that's at 10 a.m. So I'll be going over the different reading strategies that the kids are learning at school and how the parents can also help their kids with those strategies at home. I know parents want to help their kids, but sometimes they don't know exactly the words that they should be using to help them. And so I'll go over that. And then I will also go over some summer reading strategies for summer.
Great. So excited. Yeah,
All
a lot
right.
of good stuff coming up. Really wishing again we could have done this in person, maybe next year. But again, thank you so much for your time today. Mrs. T. do you have any closing remarks?
That is it. So thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully the echo's not too bad. We're in the same room, but thank you very much for joining us. Okay. If you don't have any more questions, we're going to just hold on for a couple of seconds. If not, we're just going to end it. Thank you.
Okay, say goodbye, Tina. Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay, leave. Bye.
It looks like
My dad
Arlene
isn't
has a
here.
question.
I'm sorry, who does?
Arlene?
My dad isn't here.
It's okay. It's okay if your dad's not there. Go ahead and write your name in the chat.
Okay.
Okay. And then, Arlene, if you have a question, you can also ask.
Hola, ma.